here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child, right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children.
Good evening to all. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News and different social media networks. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. Wow, this is so a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact, we're leaving in some days. In the next incoming days, we're leaving to Europe. And we are about to embark into this documentation of the mass migration in the continent of Europe. And ultimately, a priority is to document how this globalization of this crisis that is created by these international organizations and ultimately some people that are taking advantage of the vulnerability of, of the most vulnerable, that is the currency, that is the migrant. And doing this, research as we are moving into another continent that's completely different of my area. I've traveled the continent of America and Central and South America, but now ultimately it's completely different. We're moving to Europe. And not only that, but as I was talking to one of the people that it's basically my mentor, and it is the great Chuck Colton, that he needs to be recognized worldwide for his documentation of everything. He's a former Ranger of the United States of America. And he sent me this link, and I started investigating a little bit more and reading it about it. It is unbelievable what is happening in the parts of the UK in terms to the migration. Now, a lot of people are not going to agree with me. A lot of people are going to agree with me. A lot of people are going to disagree to agree. But I believe strongly that this is not human. I believe strongly that this is not human. Now, I believe that the mass migration and an uncontrollable factor with no borders, it is a complete destruction of a country. Yes, I do believe that. There needs to be borders on every country to have law, to have orders, and to ultimately to recognize, what is a country. But this is what is happening in the UK. And it is unbelievable. And the prime minister, he's from descendants of Africa. What they just did in Europe, it is in the UK, it is one of the most incredible things that I ever seen in my life. This is a floating vessel. And this floating vessel, it looks like what? For people to understand in the live feed, what does it look like? It looks like a prison, doesn't it? It looks basically like a prison. This floating vessel, it is going to be put in the sea to prevent migrants from coming into the UK. And what I understand is that this floating vessel, it is going to be the processing center before they go into the UK. Isn't it crazy? It is. Wow. I cannot believe that in the year 20, and this is, let me calm down because I am going to try to explain. I cannot believe that in the year 2023, we are in this place right now, that this is the solution. I cannot believe that in the year 2023, the United States has a governor that wants to put plastic, whatever balls in the middle of the river to control a mass migration. I cannot believe that. Also, I cannot believe that in the year 2023, you have a prime minister, descendants of Africans, descendants of people from Africa, that he will put a floating vessel in the parts of the UK to prevent people from Africa to come in. The same place that you have been extracting minerals, because the UK has been extracting minerals from Africa for the longest of time, relentlessly. But I understand that the migrants from Africa have been coming into Europe massively. But is this the way to control it? Is this the way? Wow. I never thought in my life I will see something that in my perspective, this is not the way. In my perspective, I don't know, somebody else is gonna say, oh yeah, possibly it is the way, Oscar. Possibly is the way. For me, it is not the way. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And let me read a little bit about this floating vessel. It says, what will life be like on the UK's first migrant barge? So there you have the picture right there. You have to be kidding me with this, man. You have to be kidding me about this. You have, holy crap, really, it is actually happening. It is actually happening. So next thing you know, you will find that somebody's going to put a floating vessel for people to prevent from Cuba to exile. What the hell? It is. Wow. So let us read a little bit about it. Let's read a little bit about it. It's a column by the BBC News, and it is written by Marcus White and Sophie Kreidland. It says, the story's high, the length of the football pitch. The Hulken Grey Bye-Bye Stockholm has spent the past 30 years as an accommodation barge, sited where a prison ship used to be. Portland Port on a scenic peninsula in the South Dorsey is a destination for cruise and cargo ships. The Vivi Stockholm berth, it is beneath the steep hillside dominated by the Burm prison and the Royal Naval Cemetery. This is where it's going to be located, right? So it's the Portland Port right here in the top. You will see, but it says that it has, and they're going to try to play it out like it's, oh my God, it's such a beautiful thing. They can wait there, like it's, holy crap. It says it has spacious bedrooms, and it says the vessel owner, Liverpool-based Bivy Marine, lists 222 spacious cabins with natural light. In his brochure, a typical bedroom includes a single bed in a suite, shower, and a TV and a Wi-Fi. That is what it says. No alcohol to be sold aboard. Luxury living can be enjoyed in the well-equipped gym and sampling the great drink selections in the bar, according to Bivy Marine's website. However, the Home Office has ruled out migrants being allowed to purchase alcohol on board. The bar has been removed. The gym has survived the refit, along with a large canteen and TV room with a big screen and sofas. There's also a multi-faith prayer room and as a classroom, which can be used for meetings and activities. Limited outside space includes the vessel's central courtyards and a fence-off compound on the adjacent dock. Who are the residents? Those on board will be single adult males from the ages to 18 and 65. That is who are going to be the residents of this vessel, of this prison vessel, or this migrant vessel that is going to take over migrants, right? Says the first 50 men will arrive within weeks after suitability screening. That will include physical and mental health assessments and security checks, such as identity checks against UK immigration and policy databases. How has this Bivy Stockholm been used before? You guys can read about it. Health and security also is in this column. There is another picture of basically this vessel that says more than 93 meters long and 3 stories high. Will house up to 506 people. Originally had a gym, bar, restaurant, and games room. Male-only asylum seekers will stay to 3 to 6 months. Holy moly. Guacamole. Wow. Thoughts on this, people? Thoughts. This is a prison. It's none other. Let me just tell you that. It is what it is. It is not a detention center. Don't try to, decrease the level of what the significance is the significance of this. But which I believe, whatever happened to a filter coming into a border, whatever happened to a filter, and let me just relate to whose fault is all of this. Where's the United Nations? I want to ask a question. Let me put a different screen right here. Where's the United Nations? Let me drink a little bit of water. Where's the UN? Where's OIM? Where are all of these organizations, man? Where are they? You see how insignificant they look when something like this comes about? You see how insignificant this looks? Imagine all males from 18 to 65. What relates to that? It looks like a prison. It feels like a prison. And you're only going to house only males from the ages to 18 and 65. It looks like one. But the question is right here. Where is the UN? Where are these international organizations in terms to this? Why they're not showing their face? And the most horrible thing about it is that you have a prime minister of Africa. Apparently, he's something like that. It's African descent. And the guy is part of this, wants to, whatever happened to legal migration? Whatever happened to putting people through a process through your borders? Whatever happened to border security? Whatever happened to secure the borders? Whatever happened to that? Is that not a solution anymore? To put secure borders on the sea and say, like, hey, this is not the way. That's the way over there. Miles away from here, a little bit, there's a port of entry where you can enter, you can apply. Whatever happened to that? Why are these giant vessels, and who are the investors? It reminds me, and clearly this is a business. It is all a business. Let me tell you, folks, it is all a business. Why is it a business? Remember the Obama years? Obama was the head deporter in chief of all. Nobody has deported more Latinos and Mexicans in history. And it was a great business for him. He was associated with all these private prisons, CCA, MCC, GO. Mass deportation. Not only that, what happened? A lot of people try to come back again into the United States of America. And it was another crime that it was illegal re-entry. So it was again to these private prisons. And a lot of private prisons were built under the administration of Obama. They know that this is a huge business. It is modern day slavery. You, instead of creating jobs, instead of creating a better economy in your countries, instead of creating better opportunities for people to not leave, you're pushing people and you're creating this chaos and this crisis and the poverty for people to leave their countries, and ultimately you will create these kind of businesses. Now you got a floating vessel that it looks like a prison, smells like a prison. It is a humongous business. Who's going to maintain this? Of course, possibly the UK taxpaying people. But who are the investors? Who are they? And a lot of these private prisons, I'm basically copy pasting what is happening right now with this, what just Obama did. Obama did exactly the same thing. He admitted by the millions and he deported by the millions. And it was a huge, huge, huge business. Huge business. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. So this, for people that do not understand what is going on, this is, let me just put myself again right here on the screen. This is, what is it? What are we talking about for people to joining in? So how's everybody doing? Oscar Blue right here. Giving you guys a short live. This is a giant vessel. It looks like a prison, right? So there, it's in the middle of the UK. It was built in UK, and it is going to be in a port named Portland. Let me just swipe right here a little bit in the article right here to the top. This is where it's going to be located. This is where it's going to be located. The Isle of Portland and Portland Port right here. And this is where it's going to be located. Now, people are going to be put in the middle of the sea. Migrants are going to be stationed there. And when they are from 3 to 6 months until they are cleared, so they can go into the UK. And this is the floating prison or floating migrant detention center vessel. For the majority of the people, they are going to be from Africa, right? So this vessel is going to be holding migrants from the years of 18 to 65. 18 to 65, all males. Imagine that, man. Imagine how that is going to be. Imagine controlling. It is going to be like a prison. Imagine controlling this, man. And I can, and let me just be logical with this. Now, if you're going to have all men inside of this vessel, I imagine in my head and in my logic that you're going to have armed police officers or, correctional officers or who you're going to have in there. You're going to have the United Nations. How in the hell the United Nations it is being aiding and abetting this to continue, man? How? Somebody saying, look at your own prison in Mexico. Why should I look at? I'm talking about this. Why am I supposed to focus on your comment? I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. Focus on this. Why is everybody like that, man? Focus on the topic. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Incredible, really. And it's not to pander to the migrants, but this is not the solution. Which I believe the solution, it's just go by the law. The law was put there for a reason. Immigration law exists for a reason. For you to enter a country, you have to do this. Okay, let me do that. For me to transfer myself to one border to another border, I need to do this. Okay, let me do that. But now you're coming out with these vessels. And if you go more further into the investigation of these kind of vessels or migrant prison vessels, who are the investors on this? As I was just copy pasting what Obama did in his years, man. Obama was completely taking advantage of this. Completely taking advantage of this. He was deporting massively and he was admitting massively. He knew that people were going to come in a regular fashion, and he was putting them in detention centers. It is none different of what right now Joe Biden is doing, but now he's using NGOs, right? It is kind of like, I will not use a prison because now it's oppressive, and now they're going to say that I am a xenophobic and I'm a fear monger, so I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to admit by the hundreds of the thousands, and I'm just going to put detention centers on these places. So you put detention centers on these places, the same processing centers to let them out. But then later on, you're going to say, hey, you know what? I need you to go back because your case was not admitted. And these people are going to get returned back or deported or however you want to call it. The problem is going to be, how is the effect? And now talking about this in inclusion with the United States. Now, I want to ask a question to the people that they are in the United States, and also, me as a Mexican in my country of Mexico, living on the other side of the border. I don't know what the effect is going to be now that if another president comes in and starts doing a mass deportation. I don't know how is that going to be handled. Really, I do not know, because let me tell you, you just admitted, and you have a crisis in New York. You have a huge crisis in New York. Possibly this vessel, it is to prevent those kind of crises, but that is not the way. The way is to just basically say, hey, sir, this is over there, there it is, apply the law, but you're not denying asylum. You're not denying refugees. You're not. You're just saying, this is my immigration law. I'm going with international human rights, but this is the law also. Not migration is a human right. Yes, it is, but this is the law. This is what it is. And apparently, this right here, this is it. It looks like a prison, man. It really looks like a prison. Now, in terms to what is happening to the United States. Now, let me ask you a question. So you have admitted by the millions, not by the thousands into the United States. You have admitted by the millions of refugee asylum cases, and a lot of them are economic migrants. Let's not lie about that. Because a lot of the, oh my God, he's fear mongering, he's creating hysteria. He's a white supremacy. He's white imperialism. Oh my God, he's transphobic, homophobic, pronoun-phobic, fat-phobic, xenophobic, narcissist, racist, and bigot. Oh my God, all of them in just a nutshell. No, leave your snowflake language, your language barrier of defense. Leave it outside the box and be a man, and let's just talk about it the way it is. Now, in terms to the United States, you have millions of people that they are in irregular status right now. What is an irregular status? They're waiting for their asylum and refugee to be admitted and vetted. They don't even know if they're going to be a legitimate case of asylum or a legitimate case of refugee. They do not know yet. They were just admitted and they were just let go, right? Because that is the process that Joe Biden is doing right now. He's admitting, he's telling them, come back in 70 million years, and they will come back in 70 million years if they want to. But not to talk bad about the process, whatever it is, CBP, leave it alone. I want to ask a question. So you have millions of people. So let's say somebody comes into office. Somebody saying migration is not a human right. Build your own society. I'm sorry, it is a human right. And you come from migrants. And you are in your country of the United States because of migrants. And they migrated legally, whatever they migrated, but they migrated with the right to migrate for a better place. Migration is a human right, but there in this human right, there's laws, and you got to obey those laws. By you denying that migration is a human right, you're denying also to the significance of migration. Tell that to Jesus. Tell that to Moses. What are you going to say that? So let us go back to the main topic. So, what is going to happen if another president comes in and says, you know what? There's going to be a mass deportation. A mass deportation. Mass deportation of people. That they're not legitimate cases of asylum and refugee. Now, I'm predicting this because the one thing leads to another. This vessel, it is just basically telling you, we don't want you in the country. We want you to stay away. And after you come to this vessel, let me see the process. Oh my God, we got. I didn't know that you were here. Now you made me nervous, man. We got the main man right here. Before I continue to talk, and before I continue to relate a little bit on this topic, I want to ask a question, and I want to tell everybody: be sure to follow this man. Be sure to follow my mentor. It's called The Hot Zone with Chuck Holton. Go over there and follow him. He's a former Ranger. He's an inspiration to a lot of us. The man deserves a lot of credit, and he deserves to be, recognized in all terms possible. Man, he knows the world. He has traveled the world a lot, and also go and research his new movie that is called Armenia. Go and research his new movie called Armenia. Phenomenal film, incredible film. Incredible film. It's just phenomenal. As a matter of fact, I'm talking about this topic because of him. So go and follow him at the Hot Zone Chuck Holton. Also at CBN and also Newsmax. All of that. Go and follow him. So I'm going back to the topic. I want to ask you this question. There you got it. Armenia love story right here. Armenia, a love story. That's the title. Sorry, sir. Got it wrong. Armenia, a love story. That's the title of the movie. Please go and watch it. Support all his books and everything that he does, man. He's an incredible human being. So proud to be with him. Let me ask you this question. And this is something that I will, what is going to happen? Because Mexico is not prepared for this. And it's not prepared for what? It's not prepared to know what if the United States takes this decision to say, you know what, I'm going to deport every single individual that is not a credible fear, it is not a legitimate case of asylum or a legitimate case of refugee. Do you know how many millions that they are in the United States of America are not a legitimate case of refugee and asylum? Do you know what is going to happen? Do you know the effect that is going to have inside of the United States? I will tell you, and I'm predicting this, and I'm not creating conspiracies and creating hysteria like these snowflakes they say, but I will be honest with you. There's going to be massive protest, possibly riots, if this happens. Do you know how the progressives are going to feel if somebody comes? Let's say, for example, I'm not going to predict. Let me hypothetical example. Hypothetically speaking, let's say Donald Trump comes into office, right? He returns into the Oval Office and he says, closed. We're out of the UN. We are out of the United Nations. I'm out. I'm not going to be part of the United Nations Global Compact on Migration. I'm done. Deport. Return them back. Stay in Mexico policy comes back. That is a policy that worked for him. So stay in Mexico policy is going to come back. It's going to put that. And then Title 42 possibly is going to reinstate it or not. He comes back into office and then he says, get him out. What do you think it is going to happen? Legitimately, I'm asking this question. What do you think it is going to happen to the United States? And we're talking about that there is millions of people. We're not talking about that there's only 2 to 3 to 4,000. As a matter of fact, just FYI for people that they're saying in mainstream media that the migration has stopped. They're complete liars and complete just lying in your face. Complete lying in your face. Migration has not slowed down in the Darien, has not decreased. As a matter of fact, there's other migrations that are coming in a massive flow. That is the migration from Asia, from people from China, from people from Africa continuing. And it's a massive global effect that is happening right now in Europe, as we are seeing this UK vessel that looks like a prison. It feels like a prison. It possibly is just it resembles to a prison in the middle of the sea. But now it is continuing to the northern borders and it's not stopping. What is the effect that it's going to have? And I'm telling you, this that the UK is doing, it is because they have a big, gigantic problem with mass migration. They don't know how to control it. Europe, it is out of control with mass migration. They do not know how to control it anymore. And this has been provoked and done by one and only the UN. And everybody knows this. Their global compact on migration has completely destroyed border sovereignty on every country. It is a reality. But the thing is, let us copy paste this. Let's take it and put it in the United States. Somebody comes in, says we are going to return everybody back. We're going to deport them all because they came in the illicit way. They came in illegally. They came this, they came that, blah. All right. Do you know how that president is going to get attacked worldwide? Holy crap. The strategy from the left, they already know what is going to happen if they don't even win the election to be a president. They already know what is going to happen how they're going to manage their agenda if a Democratic president does not come into office. They already know how they're going to handle it. Because again, they're going to go back to massive riots, massive protests. And of course, they're going to start protesting against this president. They're going to go hard. They're going to be like, oh, you're not going to deport. You're inhuman. The ACLU is going to be in there. All human rights activists. The UN is going to go in there. And oh, my God, they're going to get statements in the UN. And they're going to make that president look like he's a xenophobic. He's inhuman. He's the most worst president ever. He's so inhuman. Look what he's doing to people. And everybody's going to hate that. It's already been planned. It's a strategy. I don't know how they're going to do it. I do not know how they're going to do it. A lot of people know the solution of what is going to happen, but I do not know how the people are going to accept this. Just saying. Because you guys have to look at the repercussions of what is going to happen in terms to what happens if a mass deportation starts happening in the United States. The secondary effect. This just example. What happened in the year 2020. Just let alone the year 2020. You guys remember what happened in the year 2019 and 2020? Black Lives Matter, Antifa, COVID came into office. All of this started happening in the year 2020. Oh my God, it was horrible. Everybody hit and it hit the face of the United States like nobody else in the history, man. In history. And every Democrats won, everything went away. Now, going back to this topic, this is something that is, for me, that we have been, documenting for quite some time. Let me just put this video right here on screen. It looks, incredible. This vessel. Let me just put this vessel right here. Let's change the camera right here. Where am I? Where am I? Right there, Oscar Blue. What are you doing, man? Right there. So it's the asylum barge. You know what, man? Let me just get. I need to do something, man. I need to put some music on, man. I'm always for what is it? What is it? We need to put the uh where is it? Hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay, no copyright, no copyright, no copyright. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We need to put that copyright. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We need to that. You know, because this looks like it really, man. What the hell is going on? Now you got a floating vessel, man. It's just we need some music. We need some music. Oh my god. It's just you have to be kidding me, man. Holy crap, man. A floating vessel. I do not know if this is a solution or not, man. It looks like a prison, man. It looks like a prison that is floating in the sea. Uh, the mass migration in Europe is out of control. They don't even know how to control it, and this is all caused because of open borders in the United Nations. And it is going to be so incredible to see how this is going to work out in the future for this government, man. I do not know. And in the first and foremost, where's the United Nations? These people that they're always pandering to the human right and always the OIM. Somebody's asking a question: why only men are there? I will say that the majority that they have been causing problems in the parts like France, in the parts like the Netherlands, Dutchland, in the parts like the UK, the majority have been men. So this is a way to basically for them. The way that I understand it is for them the way to prevent more problems from coming in, and it looks like a processing center in the sea. Whatever happened to just secure the border? That is not a solution anymore. But making a prison vessel, it is. Or making a processing center for a vessel or whatever you want to call it. However you want to call it, man. However you want to call it. Your opinions. I will just give you guys your opinions of what do you guys think about this vessel. This vessel that is relates like a prison. It looks like a prison, but you know, a lot of people are not. For me, I do not agree with this as a solution. It is the only way that they have a solution in the UK. Well, you know, go ahead. I'm there. If I see it, I'm there to document. I'm not there to just be like, hey, I'm against. I'm a journalist, man. I need to behave. But what I can say is that this is not whatever happened to secure. Just do a process correctly. And I believe that it has gone out of their hands so bad that they do not know what to do anymore. The Biden administration, it is another one that they are so incompetent that they have made so many ways for this mass irregularities to continue through the borders. It's just, it's exactly the same. They do not know what to do anymore. And I was just saying, exactly like Barack Obama did. Barack Obama was a huge deporter in chief. But he made millions out of private prisons of the CCA, GEOs, and MCCs. Somebody saying, Oscar, oh my God, whoever in their right mind came with this idea is, I believe, that is the Prime Minister of the UK. And he has descendants of Africa. That's another crazy thing. Like Alejandro Mayorkas, man. It's exactly like Alejandro Mayorkas, another incompetent imbecile. That his people were fleeing in Cuba by boats, and he said, like, nobody's gonna. I don't care about you coming in boats. Like, it's okay, man. There's the law, but there's ways to say it. Like, it's a law. These people got a big mouth, and they don't even know they have a lot of power, and they can have a lot of ways to deal with mass migration and have a more controllable migration and more humane and more all of this. But they just completely do this. Somebody saying, my God, these comments, they're talking about extermination and all this kind of stuff. Some of the comments are way out there, man. Way out there. Oh my God. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real Americans, Voices, and Different Networks. We are planning to go in a few days into Europe. And just for everybody to know, your support is well needed. So there's our travel fund pin in the chat. A travel fund is pinned in the chat, where you guys would like to contribute and and help us out to continue our documentation of mass migration in Europe. I believe that it's unbelievable. And thank you so much. Okay, we got some people. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. People. Okay. So people have been contributing. So I want to say thank you to Carrie, Anonymous, also Carol, Miss Jan, also Kim, Miss Jerry Lee, Robert, Melody, Karen, Jan, Tammy, Eva, Mary, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for contributing to our travel fund. We are going to be traveling soon. We're going to be out for a few weeks and documenting migration. The great Chuck Colton gave me an advice, and he told me, you're going there to document, Oscar, and to say that you're going to find out the truth. So that is what we are going to do. And ultimately, we are going to be out for a few days. We cannot disclose exactly the locations for security. I'm not disclosing it yet until I'm authorized by the main man to say, go ahead, Oscar, you can say. But if not, we're not disclosing locations until now. We are just going to Europe, and we're going to walk around through a few countries and just report and report on a lot of this. This topic was brought to me by, again, the great Chuck Colton, he was right here a few moments ago in the chat. So people want to follow him, go to the Hot Zone, Chuck Colton and the Hot Zone. He does some great incredible interviews. Go to his Twitter also as Chuck Colton. I don't know if he has a Facebook. I never tag him on Facebook. I think he has one, but he doesn't use it that much. And Instagram, he has also Chuck Colton on Instagram. Locals, also he has Chuck Colton on Locals. So you can follow him at CVN and also Newsmax. Ultimately, those are his two main networks. And as I was saying, go and watch the Armenia, a love story, a true love story. That is this movie. That it was a total hit in Armenia. Great movie, phenomenal movie. And also, where is it? My God, where is it? Okay, give it a quick man, Chuck. I'm promoting you, Chuck. Okay, we got it here. His book, Bulletproof, right here. His book, Chuck Colton, Bulletproof. If you guys want to go ahead and buy it, Bulletproof, Chuck Colton, right here. I'm always reading this book. He told me when he gave it to me in Panama, he told me, "Hey, just for you to catch some sleep when you're on the plane." Guy's a funny guy, man. So we're gonna be traveling soon. We're gonna be traveling soon to Europe. So thank you to all of you that thank you for all of you for your endless and phenomenal support. Uh, and there's the link for people who want to donate and contribute to our, travel fund. Thank you so much. This topic was brought to me by him, and he sent it to me, and he said, "What do you think about this?" And I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me with this crap." It's incredible. It's the way that every country has a solution for mass migration and for uncontrollable migration. Uh, the United States has the solution for mass migration was a wall. For the United States, for Mexico, the solution for mass migration is nothing. They don't have they're not doing anything, man. Absolutely nothing for mass migration. For the Panamanian government, they're doing an excellent job on spreading awareness and saying Darien is not a route. So they are doing a full-on operation inside the jungle with the Colombian authorities and working in coalition with both of the authorities. But ultimately, Centrefront is the one that is doing the massive work to stop these traffickers from continuing abusing the migrants and making a profit out of billions of dollars. Right. So there's certain countries that they are taking certain, different decisions and, and taking different postures on how to handle mass migration. The UK has taken this decision on making a vessel, and that's unbelievable. That's just incredible how they manage a way to, and it can be a processing center in the middle of the sea. I really do not know yet, so I do not know if I agree or do not agree with it because I haven't seen it. I have not studied it completely in the whole purpose of it. But you have seen that there's a lot of insecurities that they have been going on with mass migration of people from Africa coming in irregularly into certain borders. This has nothing to do with color, has nothing to do with this. Has to do on how, the cultural shock and the massive effect of cultures that they impact every country as they are, relentlessly going into another. So every culture makes a huge impact. So unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue. It was nice talking to you guys on this evening, man. Nice talking to you guys on this evening. Again, we're going to be traveling soon. Comments. People want to ask a question, want to ask a comment. We have a couple of minutes. I'm always doing these 60-minute lives to talk to people. I'm going to do a special report on this vessel in Spanish. There was a leftist philosopher that he's really famous right now in Mexico. He's young and he uses all this folkloric language. And he's saying that if it would have been a vessel that China would have made it, everybody, all the capitalist people will be talking about it, but because it is the UK, nobody's making noise about it. And I'm like, you're making noise. You have a huge platform. And, you forgot what Obama did, because he was saying, oh, because they use minorities always to promote these kind of stuff. And he's basically like all these snowflakes that they always use the white supremacy, the white imperialism. There's white this, white that. But what you forgot about Obama? Like you forgot that he was like the most pandering minority leader, that he was going to change the world and he was going to pander to Hispanics and blacks and all this kind of stuff. And he was the most racist president to Latinos in history. They forget about that. They forget about how these dictators, they ruin the countries. How these dictators, they ruin countries. Hugo Chavez, Nicolas Maduro, Ortega's right now is ruining Nicaragua. Like they forget about that. They completely forget about that. They always are for this, the pandering of these communists. So questions before I leave. Somebody want to ask a question before I leave? Before I say goodbye to all of you guys. Been drinking a lot of water, man. Drinking a lot of water, and working out a lot and drinking a lot of water. And thank you all for your all support for the travel fund. Thank you so much. We are. Uh, have you been to Europe before? In my dreams. I was I was traveling in Venetia, but it was the Darien Gap. Last time I was in the top of a piragua, and I was holding the bamboo stick, and I was singing a Europe an Italian song, Amore me, in the middle of the Darien. It looked like it, man. And let me just I'm trying to make it look like it was. I'm trying to make it look like it was, man. Uh, Questions before I leave. Uh, oh my God. There's a question. Can you please put Chuck Holton picture again? I don't have his picture. Go and you can go and search his phone and search his social media. Go to his the most that he uses is his YouTube channel. He uses his YouTube channel, so it's called the Hot Zone with Chuck Colton. Go over there and search it. Questions? Are you going to several countries? Did you learn Italian? A little bit. I know a little bit. Are you going to several countries? Yes, I am. First things God. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're going to several countries. Yes, we are. We're going to several ones. And hopefully we will continue to go more and more and more as let's see if we can receive support from the people and we can continue with our journeys. So thanks so much. These are people that just contributed. Thank you. Oh my God. Joe, Sunday, Taiji, thank you for the coffees. Thank you so much. Thank you. How much more financial support is needed for this documentary trip? It is not it's not a, well, I don't know. It's just, we're going to continue for a lot of time. So exactly the quantity or the amount, I don't, it's no, it's whatever you want to contribute. What kind of question or comment is that? Some of the people, sometimes they ask me questions and they want to relate about American history. And I understand. I completely understand the people because they see that I speak English. They want to ask me about things that are in American history. I do not know American history that much. And some of the people are talking about, Native Americans and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, hold on, man. We're talking about mass migration nowadays. Why are you going back so much, man? It's questions, people. Questions? And nobody's forcing you, by the way. So thank you. Thank you for all your support. Still have some minutes. Still have some minutes to read your comments, questions, whatever you want to ask. Before I go, I got to edit a video in Spanish. It's 8:50 over here, and I still got to get ready. I have a long day tomorrow, man. I have a long day tomorrow. Long day tomorrow. So got to go to sleep early, and ultimately after that the long day, we got a long day after. It's gonna be a long week, long week. So do you ever go to the border of Eagle Pass in Del Rio, Texas? I will go possibly this year. I will go over there possibly this year. and document on both sides. We'll go possibly this year. Mary Kay says, I'm interested in Finland, Italy, Hungary, because they're trying to limit the migration. Um, wow. Well, there is an island where they're coming in from Italy. That is where that island is one of the most. That route is one of the most dangerous routes in the Mediterranean Sea. Uh, and man, I had the name of the island. It is all the way to the bottom of the country, but it's extremely dangerous to get to that place. You see a lot of mass migration through that, you know, through that part of the country of Italy. Oscar, Africa has always been close to Europe. Why haven't migrants gone there previously? If you know, um, I think that they have gone there previously, and now they're going more massively because of what is, you know, these open border agendas and this open border policies, due to the fact that the United Nations has, you know, interfere with a lot of the countries. It has to do a lot with the United Nations, how they have interfered with law and with their international human rights, you know, basically agenda. The Global Compact on Migration. Uh, do you know where most of the migrants are going in America? The continent of America. This is one of the parts. It's called Malta. Yes, it is. But it's another part. Uh, there's they're really compromising questions. uh, One last question before I go. 57 minutes going in. I got 3 minutes for you guys. One last question. Favorite food? Tacos. Well, thank you so much for joining in. Good evening to all. We were talking about this topic that is really going on right now in Europe, and it is a gigantic vessel that is looks like a prison vessel for it looks like a detention facility that is on the sea for migrants, specifically migrants from Africa. It says that it will hold only males from the ages of 18 to 65. That is around the ages that it will be holding. And Lampedusa. Yes, thank you so much, Miss Shirley. I forgot about that. Lampedusa Island. That is where the island that I have talked to about. That hopefully one day I will visit that island and document also the mass migration in the parts of Italy and Lampedusa. So this is a gigantic vessel that has been put by the UK, and the Prime Minister of the UK allowed this. It is a vessel that is going to have control of the migrants in there. Apparently, it will be holding more than 500 migrants, specifically in the majority from Africa, from the ages from 18 to 65. The vessel has all these amenities, and it has a gymnasium. It used to have like game rooms and all this kind of stuff, but it was accommodated for migrants, you know. So it doesn't have those accommodations like it was a vessel back in the day. But now it is going to be a migrant vessel that is going to be holding migrants for screening, and ultimately for a later process to see if they're going to be embedded into the UK. people do not agree with this. A lot of people do agree with this. I have a off balance decision. Why? I don't think that is a correct decision to do because there's borders. So this is, for me, this is not a process. You should just have a process correctly and should be implemented, and that is it. But and I look at it as another way to people to make money out of migration, investors and all this kind of stuff, as Obama did, that he made a lot of private prisons and he was making a lot of money out of, deportations and admissions of, irregular admissions to people that they were coming into the country of the United States. But that's another topic. I look at it that way. I look at it in a way that who's profiting out of it. And, you have a lot of international investors that they're profiting out of it. So God bless you all. We will see each other until next time. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. We will talk next time that we see each other. And thank you so much for all your contributions and help for our next trip into the continent of Europe. God bless you. Stay safe. We will see each other next time. We're here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of
Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child right there. All these NGOs